Have you ever met someone in their 70s or 80s who just radiates peace? They are not loud, they are not flashy, but there is something about them that feels whole, grounded, gentle. They smile more, worry less, and carry a kind of quiet joy that draws you in. What is their secret? It is not wealth or perfect health. It is not luck or good genes. The truth is, many of the happiest seniors share certain habits, small personal things they do every day, but they rarely talk about them. These are not the habits people post about. They are not dramatic or impressive. They are private, but they are powerful. These quiet rituals bring peace in the morning, comfort in the evening, and a sense of purpose in between. They are the invisible threads that hold together a joyful, meaningful life, especially in our later years. Today, we are going to explore 5 private habits practiced daily by seniors who are truly content. Some of these may surprise you. Some may already live in your heart, but all of them are worth remembering. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let us begin. If this message speaks to you already, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps us grow and reach more wonderful people like you. And tell me in the comments, which country are you watching from today? I would love to know where this peaceful circle is reaching. Point 1. Morning stillness ritual. They sit in silence every single morning. No television, no phone, no news. Just a warm drink, a quiet place, and the gentle rhythm of their own breath. It might seem like nothing, but for many happy seniors, this quiet pause is the most important moment of the entire day. Why? Because after 70, life slows in some ways, but not always in the ways we expect. There are new aches, new routines, new responsibilities. Some days start with medical appointments, others with loneliness. And before we know it, the day has taken over. But the happiest seniors do something different. They begin the morning by not rushing. They make space for stillness before anything else claims their energy. Let me tell you about Helen. She is 73, lives alone, and starts every single day the same way. She rises just before sunrise, puts the kettle on, and wraps herself in a soft shawl. Then she sits beside the window, holding her tea, watching the sky change color. No talking, no writing, no to-do list. Just being. It makes me feel like I still belong in the world, she once told her granddaughter. It reminds me that I am not behind, I am just beginning. Science quietly agrees with Helen. A morning ritual of stillness, even for just 5 to 10 minutes, helps lower cortisol, your stress hormone, reduce blood pressure, and improve focus. It grounds the nervous system. It slows the heart rate. It prepares the mind to face the day from a place of calm, not chaos. In a world that constantly pushes us to do, move, fix, and prove, morning stillness says, wait, let me just be here first. But it is not just about health, it is about soul. Because in silence, we remember what matters. We might hear the birds or feel the sunlight on our hands. We might think of someone we love or find a memory floating back like a feather on the wind. Some mornings bring a quiet tear, others bring an unexpected laugh. But every morning brings presence, and presence is the birthplace of joy. If you are not used to sitting in silence, it might feel awkward at first. You might wonder, what am I supposed to do? But that is the gift. You do not have to do anything. Just sit, breathe, notice. Choose a spot that feels safe and peaceful, maybe a favorite chair by the window or a cozy corner with a candle. Make a cup of tea, or just hold your hands in your lap. You do not need a meditation app or spiritual plan. You just need to show up for yourself. Even 5 minutes of quiet can change the entire flavor of your day. It softens the edges of grief. It calms anxious thoughts. And it reminds you, before the world asks anything of you, that you matter. The happiest seniors do not wait until life is peaceful to feel peace. They begin with peace, and everything else flows from there. Now, let us move to number 2. This next habit is deeply emotional, and yet so quietly practiced, You would never know it unless someone let you in. Point 2. Touching their memories. They revisit something that matters deeply, but quietly. Not every day, but almost. And never with fanfare. You might walk past the small wooden box on their dresser, or the photograph tucked behind the door, and never think twice. But for many happy seniors, that quiet ritual of touching a memory is more than nostalgia. It is nourishment for the soul. Let me tell you about George. He is 78, and every morning before he eats his oatmeal or reads the paper, he takes a moment to open a tiny drawer in his nightstand. Inside, carefully folded, is the scarf his late wife used to wear. He does not cry. He does not speak. He simply touches the fabric, closes his eyes for a moment, and breathes. "It keeps me soft," he says. That scarf is not just cloth. It is a thread that connects him to the love, the history, the life that still lives inside him, even if it no longer lives outside. Many people think happiness in old age is about moving forward. But for the happiest seniors, part of the secret is learning how to hold on, gently, tenderly, to what shaped them. These small acts of remembrance do not come from sadness. They come from gratitude. A happy senior might open an old recipe book, run a hand across a worn garden tool, or reread a postcard that made them laugh 30 years ago. They might hum a tune from the radio days, or polish a silver coin they found as a child. They do not need anyone else to see or understand. It is not for show. It is for grounding. And there is real emotional power in that. You see, memory is not just stored in the mind. It lives in the hands, the heart, even the fingertips. Touching something from the past, a photo, a book, a letter, activates a deep sense of continuity. It says, "I have lived, I have loved, I am still here." For seniors who face grief, loneliness, or the strange disorientation of a changing world, these memory moments offer stability. They whisper, "You are not lost. You are carried." Studies show that positive memory recall, especially when combined with a physical object, can increase emotional resilience, lower stress levels, and even help with cognitive sharpness. It is like giving the heart a drink of cool water. And you do not need a fancy memory box to begin. Look around your space. Is there something that still holds meaning? A brooch, a pressed flower, a ticket stub, a photo album with yellowed edges? Choose one item. Hold it for a moment. Let it take you back. No need to explain. No need to justify. Just let the memory wash over you. And if you like, create a tiny space for these moments. A drawer, a shelf, a tin box. Call it your memory place, a sacred corner of your life that no one else has to understand. Because some of the most important parts of our hearts never leave us. They just need to be touched once in a while, so we remember who we still are. Coming up next is point 3. A habit so simple and beautiful, most people never know it is happening. And that is exactly what makes it so powerful. Point 3. One act of hidden generosity. They give without telling anyone. No spotlight, no announcement. Just one small act of kindness, done quietly and with great love. It might be a bag of groceries left on a neighbor's porch, a card slipped into a mailbox with no return address, a prayer whispered for someone they barely know. But for the happiest seniors, this hidden generosity is not just a habit. It is a way of living with purpose, even when no one is watching. Let me tell you about Linda. She is 76 and lives in a quiet neighborhood with little traffic and lots of fences. Every Sunday, she bakes something small: banana bread, oatmeal cookies, apple muffins, and wraps it neatly. Then she walks down the street just before dusk and leaves it on someone's porch. No note, no name, no explanation. She never talks about it. But if you ask her how she stays so lighthearted, she will smile and say, "I just like knowing I can still make someone's day better, even if they never know it was me." That is the secret of hidden giving. It fills the giver more than the receiver. Because in a world where we are often told to make a difference, many seniors realize something deeper. The most powerful difference is often made in silence. There is beauty in quiet generosity, not because it avoids recognition, but because it grows from the inside out. It is not performative, it is personal. Researchers have found that acts of kindness, even when done anonymously, can boost dopamine levels, reduce depression, and strengthen the immune system. It activates a sense of meaning, which is one of the strongest predictors of emotional well-being in later life. But beyond the science, there is a deeper emotional truth. When you give without needing to be seen, you become rooted in who you truly are. There is no transaction, no expectation, only love in motion. The happiest seniors do not give to fix people or prove their worth. They give because kindness is who they have become. They slip a $5 bill into a struggling neighbor's mailbox. They knit hats for newborns and donate them in secret. They write notes of encouragement and leave them on benches in the park. And they do it without saying a word. So how can you practice this quiet habit? Start small. Think about someone who might need a lift, but who would never ask. Leave them something simple, a flower, a handwritten quote, a snack, a note, or think even broader. Pay for a stranger's coffee without saying a word. Mail a card to someone who has no idea you remembered them. The magic is not in what you give. It is in how you give it. And in a world that often feels noisy and rushed, hidden kindness is a form of sacred rebellion. Because when you do something beautiful without needing thanks, the thank you lands inside your heart. Let us now look at the fourth and perhaps most quietly transformative habit of all, one that happens not on the outside, but deep within. Point 4, talking to themselves with kindness. They speak kindly to themselves. Not out loud, not in a dramatic way, but in the privacy of their hearts. Happy seniors have learned to befriend the person in the mirror. And that simple shift changes everything. You might never guess it. They still have wrinkles, regrets, and hard days. But what sets them apart is not that life got easier, it is that their inner voice got softer. Let me tell you about Charles. He is 82 now, a widower, a veteran, a grandfather of 5. For most of his life, he was hard on himself. He held in his emotions, pushed through pain, and quietly criticized everything he did not get just right. "I spent decades telling myself I was not enough," he said one afternoon to a friend. "But now, every morning, I look in the mirror and say, 'Thank you, old man. You are still here. You are doing just fine.'" At first, it felt silly. Now, it feels sacred. Charles does not brag about this habit. He does not write about it or tell others what to do. But he knows the truth. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you feel. And for many happy seniors, the real transformation happened not through external change, but through gentler thoughts. You see, aging can bring self-doubt. The body slows, memory shifts, old stories surface. It is easy to feel like you are falling behind or becoming invisible. But those who remain content have found a quiet rebellion. They choose compassion over criticism, starting within. Science supports this wisdom. Studies show that positive self-talk, especially in seniors, improves resilience, reduces anxiety, and even helps the brain respond better to stress. It is not just positive thinking. It is reparenting yourself in the way you always needed, with patience, forgiveness, and grace. Because if we are honest, we are not always kind to ourselves. We replay mistakes. We whisper blame. We compare ourselves to others and wonder, what happened to me? But happy seniors catch that voice and redirect it. Not with empty praise, but with truth. They say things like, "I did the best I could today. I am still learning. I may be slower, but I am still standing." And slowly, those words become shelter. If this is new for you, start simple. Begin with awareness. Notice your thoughts, especially the ones you would never say to someone you love. Then ask gently, "Would I speak to my dearest friend this way?" If not, pause, breathe, and try again with kindness. Create a quiet practice just for you. It could be in the mirror. It could be while washing your hands or putting on socks. Choose one phrase to begin your day, something real, something warm. You might say, "Thank you for waking up again." You are allowed to rest. You matter, even if no one says it. Over time, this becomes your internal home. And happiness, as it turns out, often begins there, in the privacy of your own heart, with the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Let us now turn to the fifth and final habit, perhaps the most universal and yet the most quietly sacred of them all. Point 5. Daily communion with nature. They step outside, even for just 5 minutes. No big adventure, no hiking boots or backpacks, just a quiet, deliberate moment to connect with something greater than themselves. And they almost never talk about it. You might see them sitting on a porch, standing near a tree, or gently watering a small potted plant. To the outside world, it may seem like they are doing nothing. But inside, something sacred is happening. Let me tell you about Ruth. She is 80 and has lived in the same small house for over 50 years. Her children are grown. Her husband passed away 7 years ago. But every single morning, rain or shine, Ruth goes outside and spends time with her maple tree. She does not prune it or even sit beneath it. She just stands beside it, one hand on the bark, eyes closed. "It helps me remember that I am part of something that keeps growing," she says. That tree has seen her through seasons of laughter and sorrow. And somehow, it listens without judgment. It simply stands. And so does she. Happy seniors like Ruth often have this quiet habit, a daily moment with nature that gives their day shape, breath, and peace. They may not call it communion, but that is what it is. A meeting between soul and soil. A way to feel rooted again, especially when life feels uncertain. And the beauty is, you do not need a forest to feel this connection. A patch of grass, a single flower, the sound of birds, even a ray of sunlight through a window. The happiest elders make space for it. They tend to houseplants like old friends. They place a bird feeder near the kitchen sink. They notice the moon, the breeze, the way shadows stretch across the floor. Because nature speaks a language that needs no words. Studies have shown that even a few minutes of exposure to nature each day can lower blood pressure, reduce anxiety, improve memory and concentration, boost immune function, and even reduce feelings of isolation. But beyond the research, there is something more timeless. Nature reminds us that life moves in cycles, that nothing blooms forever, but nothing dies without purpose. It teaches patience through the pace of a leaf. It teaches resilience through the return of spring. When you spend time with nature, even briefly, it is as if your soul exhales. So how can you create your own daily connection? Start where you are. If you can go outside, try standing on your balcony or porch for just 5 minutes. Feel the air, notice the temperature, look at the sky, listen for birds. Say hello to a tree, even if it sounds silly. It is not silly, it is sacred. If you are indoors, place a plant near your favorite chair. Open a window, let sunlight hit your face. Sit with a stone or a shell in your palm and trace its shape. These may seem like small acts, but they are quiet prayers. And over time, they build a rhythm of reverence that grounds your days in peace. The happiest seniors do not just live in the world, they belong to it. And nature is the friend they return to again and again, without needing a single word. Let us now come to the final reflection, a gentle weaving together of everything we have shared. As we look back on these 5 quiet habits, a beautiful truth begins to emerge. Happiness in later life is not about noise or achievement. It is found in small, sacred moments. A few minutes of morning stillness, a tender hand on a memory, a secret act of kindness, a gentle word spoken inward, and a breath shared with nature. These habits are not shared for praise. They are practiced for peace. And maybe, just maybe, the reason happy seniors do not talk about them is because they do not need to. Their presence speaks louder than words. If one of these habits touched your heart today, tell us in the comments. Which one do you feel called to try or already treasure? And if this video brought you comfort or inspiration, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Your support helps us continue creating stories that heal, uplift, and remind us what truly matters.